Tonight's subject is how to share and move forward after a loss.
And our guest has coined it good grief. So we'll be right back. But today is what? What's today, Jay?
I think today is Friday.
What's it?
Today is Friday.
All right. And you know what that means? It means cue the music.
Welcome to Loving Beyond the I Do podcast. This power couple is building stronger marriages one day at a time. Talking about real issues on love, relationships, and marriage longevity. Let's break down the barriers and engage in healthy conversation with your hosts, Jason and Tina Marie. Take a seat and buckle up because things are about to get real.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining in. We are here with another Friday.
All right, so welcome to Loving Beyond the I Do podcast. We are your hosts, Jason and Tina Marie.
That's me.
Yes. And we are here to empower and inspire individuals with actionable strategies, tools, insights for developing meaningful and fulfilling relationships using universal principles, effective communication, and mindset shifts.
That's right. And you may ask, how do we do it? We do it with the Manifest Method framework. And you say, well, what is that? That is helping you create and develop relationships, lasting, wonderful, joyous relationships that you want. And that's all relationships. So what does Manifest stand for? It stands for mindset, awareness, nurture, intention, focus, empower, strengthen, and transform. But before we get into tonight's episode, we want to know, have you grabbed your copy of Manifest a Joy-Filled Relationship?
Come on, you got to get your copy.
And if you haven't, make sure you get Manifest a Joy-Filled Relationship workbook to go along with it.
Yep.
Because one without the other is incomplete, just like you without
the book. Incomplete.
All right. So you can go to Amazon and get your copy, or you can go to Legendary Relationship and click on our book and you can get it there.
All right.
All right. So we have a special guest with us in the studio tonight. And tonight is going to be great, not like last Friday. All right. You guys ready?
Are you still talking about last Friday?
No, not at all. So we have a special guest. It is Martina. There you go. No, it's starting, y'all.
Okay.
All right. Martina Jackson Green.
Okay.
All right. So let's hear a little bit about her.
Jackson Green is a dynamic leader with 25 years of experience driving meaningful change within organizations and communities. As Executive Director of Human Services Alliance of Greater Prince William, she manages a $10 million grant program providing essential resources to local organizations, offering rental assistance, food, job training, educational opportunities, and more. Utilizing exceptional interpersonal skills, she collaborates with diverse stakeholders to align business objectives with socially responsible goals, ensuring every initiative achieves tangible, measurable outcomes. A skilled marketer and sought-after speaker, her expertise in community relations has resulted in partnerships that support underserved populations, promote workforce development, and drive long-term community stability. More than that, she is a mother of two and widow and woman of faith. All right, man. Right. Yes.
So without further ado, let's welcome Martina.
All right, let's get Martina in here.
Hey! All right. So just make sure you speak up. How are you this evening?
I am absolutely fabulous. Look, that intro had me hyped. I was like, oh, what do you have to say?
That's right. Got to get a beat. Drop that beat.
I love it. This is great. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you all so much for having me.
Yes. Thank you for saying yes. So Martina and I had the the privilege of meeting each other a couple of weeks back at a conference, at the Gold Rush Women's Conference. And what an enormous, one thing I love about that conference is I get to meet such powerful women, and you are no exception. And I'm just like, yes, I have to connect with this, not only just a powerful woman, but the Tina part. I was like, yes, God knew what he was doing when he was adding Tina to
That is so intentional. And let me tell you, like, you know how you encounter certain people and their energy like matches your energy. And the moment we met, I was like, oh, this is a vibe. Like, I don't even know what it is, but we're going to go with it. There is definitely a vibe. So I love it. I'm so grateful. And the conference is absolutely powerful. It refuels you, you know, as we pour out so much. And it's wonderful to be in that circle of sisterhood and just have folks pouring into you. So yeah, I'm so glad we met. It was great.
Yes. So besides that wonderful introduction,
is there anything I missed?
Tell us about you, right? Not that professional Wonder Woman. Just give us a little bit more insight about you. What do you like? What do you do? What do you enjoy?
You know, it's so interesting. I'm in a season right now where I am really trying to figure that out, right? Like, you know, when the kids are little, it's so about them. Mm-hmm. I didn't really ever pause to think what I wanted to do or liked or any of that. You know, I just in the trenches. And so I became a widow when my kids were 9 and 12. And so we were very much in the, you know, get up in the morning, go to school, make the lunches, summer camps, like. And so now we're transitioning out of that. My son's about to go off to college. And so now I'm like, well, who do I want to be? Right. I do not have a wonderful answer for you right now. I'm working on it though. I'm in progress. I'm trying to figure it out. So
that's a great thing.
I realized that I have to step out of my comfort zone to figure that out. And so you know, I've been kind of tucked away making lunches and stuff for a long time. And so I'm just like, you know what? I am open to the possibilities of my life. So
yes.
So we're going to see.
and you know, even though I'm going to talk about that later in the podcast, that's really what so I have a workshop that went on this week that was just amazing, just absolutely amazing. And it's for that exact reason. And so I had a post out, and so I have another one next week, Monday through Thursday. And it's just for that sole purpose, because I found myself at that same place, right? I got to a point where my daughter, our whole life was just, you jump into wife mommy mode. Right. And everything, and you don't regret it or anything. It's just that it's a natural instinct. Yes. It's like, you know, and so you jump into it and you get to a point and you go, who am I? Right. And it's like, you know who you are, but you're like, really like, who am I? And so, you know, what we often talk about is that as people, I wouldn't just say women, but specifically as women, we get to a point in life where we've, you know, got to this point where either mothers or we're wives, and we really stop growing.
Yeah.
We pause the button on us, and we don't realize that we've paused it.
Yeah.
And so, and really, when we're talking about relationships, that's why sometimes later in relationships, when the children are gone, people find themselves like, okay, what do I do? Where do I go? How do I navigate this space?And sometimes women are so afraid because they're like, wow. And I actually found myself, they're like, 20 years, right? It's your last one's 18, and you're like, it's been 20 years, and when was the last time you really, like, you know, and so
celebrated yourself or really did anything?
Working is something different, but we're talking about just the personal development of the person.
Absolutely.
Right? Or you find yourself where your kids are gone and you're like, okay, now my whole life is my career, but I want more. Yes. You know, so I totally get it.
Yeah. So it's a journey, and we have to embrace the journey. And I agree. I think that, you know, I've seen some friends who divorced when the kids were small, because those are tough years. It's tough to find time for your relationship when everybody needs a bath and baby's got a cold and now they're throwing up. It's hard to be like, babe, don't you feel sexy? Like, no. You know? Those are really tough years. And yeah, it is easy to get lost. And also, I know for me, you know, being a mom is kind of where I win. You know what I mean? Sometimes work, they beat you down.
Right.
I'm like, I got this. Like,
Right.
And so then when you're not that all the time, it's like, well, where's my win? Like, where do I feel like I've got it, you know?
Right.
And that's where we just really have to be brave. I think having community is so important because
Absolutely.
my friends, like, they will drag me out. They will find the weirdest, let's go hiking. They had us sign up for someplace to go hiking on the West Coast. I was like, oh, I don't even like outside. Like, we're going hiking.
Right.
But I love that my community encourages me to try new things too, you know, because I think sometimes the circle you're in can also hold you back. People see you a certain way. They have a certain set of expectations. And it's important that we have a diverse network that allows us to grow and try new things.
And that's really important, and not all the time people have that, right? Because sometimes, you know, you get into that, like you said, mommy mode, wife mode, family mode, and so you kind of find yourself that's your only circle.
Yeah.
And so there is no community, right? And so I know when my daughter was a senior, as I said, right, it was like an aha moment. And I was like, you know what? For the past 10 years, I have said, oh, we're going to get together. Oh, let's do this. Oh, and I had not reached out and went with anybody, right? And so I was like, you know what? When I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If I tell somebody we're going to get together, we're going to get together. If I say I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And so it's just, you know, when you don't know, right?
Yeah. Well, you're doing the best, you know, but I'm like Martina. Hey, I killed the daddy game. You know what I'm saying? I was all in.
Well, I just want to say, you know, as your kids get older, if they say something that you go, well, wait a minute, I gave it all I got. Don't take it personal.
You know what? And I won't. And sometimes, so my children now, they're 18 and 15. And now it's like, you know, any missteps or whatever, I'm like, you know what? You're going to have to take that up with your therapist on your dime. Hey, I'm doing the best I can. And if and I even, you know, children don't understand that their parents are on their own journey and we're healing and learning and trying to evolve. You know, we're not deities. But when they get grown, they'll realize, oh, it's real hard to pay all those bills, huh? Yeah, it is, babe.
And still keep it sane and take care of you and make sure you got it all together.
I got to work, do homework, take you to recital, do all this different stuff, then get up and do the whole thing over. Yeah.
So you said you're a widower.
Oh, hold up. Before we get in there, I just want to say hi to some of the people that's shouting.
All right.
All right.
So let's say hello to our fans. All right, we got Regina. Hey.
Hey, Regina, how are you? Thank you for joining us.
Yes, hey, Regina.
And then we have Nancy. Hey, Nancy, you made it in, Nancy. Thank you so much. Yes.
And your comment.
Yeah. Nancy always miss.
Say how you guys always miss my comment. So we got you today.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, she got that one. And then I have,
whenever I'm looking at you doing it, I definitely feel like Jan. Like I'm all in your space.
You in my Kool-Aid over here. That's why I don't like to let people behind the scenes.
So go watch Women's Conference. Hey, we just talked about lifting them up. Good evening.
Yes.
Can we do it again? I kind of missed it.
Okay.
All right. Good evening, my golden sister and brother. All right. Hey. Good evening.
All right. Thank you so much, Reverend Jackie.
Or is that Jackie? Because last time it said Jackie.
That's Auntie Jackie.
Auntie Jackie. All right. Okay. Now we get the name this week. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Janice. Good evening, Jason and Tina. And hello, Martina and everyone.
Hey,
welcome.
Right.
Welcome, Jan. Yes. I'm like you, Jan. I'm all over there reading the comments before they come up on the
on
Let
me take care
All right.
Oh, Versi.
Hi, Versi.
Hey,
hello,
Versi.
Jason, Tina, and Martina.
Hey.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
The whole squad. Hey, y'all.
All right, guys. Do not forget, if you are watching, we cannot see who's watching, so make sure you drop your name.
Oh, just say hello.
Just say hello.
And support. Really, that's all we're asking. We're just bringing good information. Just helping people heal in certain seasons and things of that nature. It may not affect you directly, but just say hey, give some support as we go along.
All right, and drop some hearts for Martina. So, guys, don't forget that we are a station. So sometimes people get it confused when we talk about relationships, right? I think, you can want to do that. I know I'm all in. See, I'm still in the Kool-Aid.
I can't let you behind the scenes. This is my territory.
I'm like, I see the comment pop up and my eyes are like over there. So if you guys see my eyes, keep your head straight, Tina. Keep looking. All right. So we're here to just all relationships, right? The relationships with our children. And I just want to tell you, hold on to your seat, because when they get grown, It's like a whole new thing. And you just be like, you have to keep telling yourself, I just love them so much. I just love them so much. Right. And
Speak life. Speak life. That's what I tell them.
Yes.
Right.
And so, it just remind me, I'm going to get to it, but your daughter the other day, we had an opportunity to talk, and your daughter walked in, and you was like, she a little spicy. And it just reminded me of my daughter, just spicy, but God is. So, but when we're talking about relationships, so as I had asked you, I said, you said that you were a widower. And so share that with us so that we can understand, right, when we're navigating relationships, so that impacts someone tremendously, right? And so that has an effect on your home relationships, your work relationships, your family dynamics with your, everyone, your husband's family, so just share some insight as much as you want with us navigating this space as far as good grief.
So becoming a widow. So my husband, at 44 years old, was diagnosed with a rare cancer, and passed 10 weeks from the time he was like, I don't feel good, I'm going to the ER, till his transition. So it was very fast. It just felt like everything was spinning, my world changed so quickly. I think that, as most moms do, we focus on the kids. I wanted to make sure my kids, were in therapy and could manage their grief. And so my grief, I didn't really start processing for probably 6 months, a year. I was just kind of numbing myself and like going through the motions, trying to keep our lives going and things like that. And, losing a spouse. So I've lost a parent, I've lost a sibling. Losing a spouse is different in that I talk to my daddy like every week, a couple times a week, but he wasn't my everyday.
Right.
Your spouse is your everyday. You're waking up, you're going to sleep, and that's the person who's supposed to make it to the finish line with you.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
To that our parents will transition before us, but your partner is supposed to be the one that gets you through those transitions. And so it changes everything financially. It changes your visions for the future. The thing that I didn't anticipate was the impact on how I saw myself. Like I don't even want to say self-esteem, but my self-image, because, I was a part of a pair.
Right.
And that's how I saw myself. And I was very comfortable in that. And I embraced that. And I loved being his wife. Loved it. Right. And so now having to see myself and establish myself as this different kind of being was really, it was challenging. It truly was. And then my husband passed right before the pandemic hit. And so then it's like you can't even be surrounded. I love my church family. They were amazing. My church family was great. I'm a member of Jack and Jill of America, and my Jack and Jill sisters showed up. They brought food. They were on it, but then COVID came. And so there was nobody who could support me. So it was me and Jesus in my bedroom, like, oh, it's getting dicey. It got a little dicey. I was a professor, and so I worked from home. And I started drinking a lot of wine. Yeah, and it was not healthy. I don't recommend it, but I give myself grace. And I tell people all the time, it wasn't heron. Okay, it could have been worse.
Right.
There are worse things.
Yep. And you're here.
I mean, we all kind of navigate those times, in our own way. And it was tough, but I believe in therapy and Jesus, right? Mm-hmm. So I recommend all of the above. And I'm happy now, 6 years later, to be on the other side, to have my joy, to really wake up and feel like I have something to look forward to. And it wasn't a quick process. I'm still evolving and learning, but I think it's important to stay in the race. Don't give up. There are days where it really, really sucks. It really, really hurts. There are songs that play in the grocery store and I just start crying for no reason. But I know that even though this hurts today, tomorrow's a new day. And, it's a new chance for God to do something amazing in my life. So that's really what I want people to know, whatever it is. If it's loss of a job, we grieve all kinds of things.
Right.
And we all have those days where it's so dark that you just can't imagine that the sun will come out again, but it always
Right.
does. So you just got to keep getting up, and one day the sun will come out.
Wonderful,
Now,
wonderful.
my question is, were you and Jesus tight before this happened, or did
Oh,
you have to really get acclimated back into religion and everything when this happened?
no, I'm a church girl. I was in
Okay.
that thing. I've been in church my whole life. Now I will tell you, I got to know God in a whole new way. So just to give you some context, so my dad passed November 17, and then my husband in May 19, and then my brother August of 20. So it was
Oh.
like bang, bang, bang. It was compound grief, right?
Right,
Mhm.
right,
When my dad passed, he had been ill, and so it was kind of like, okay, I
right.
miss my daddy, but I didn't want him to hurt anymore. When I lost my husband, I was like, oh Lord, you're kind of trying me now. And
Right.
then when my brother passed, that's when my faith was real. I was like, you know what? You can take this Bible because it's too
Right,
much.
right,
Yeah.
right, right.
But that's the value of having community, because even in that season where I was like, I'm not going to be serving at church, I was the virtual worship leader at our church during COVID. So every Sunday, my face was the face you saw on screen. And I told my pastor, I'm out. Like, I'm not going to be able to do this. I have nothing positive to say.
Right,
So
right.
you need to find somebody else. And he was like, I will not find anybody else. And so he gave me some time, but he would check on me. First lady would check on me. The ministers, the deacons, Tina, we just checking on you,
Right.
and they wouldn't let me go. And I'm so grateful
Right.
that I had that community that would not let me go. My friends, no, you Zoom with us. We want to see you on camera. We want to know you're okay.
Right, right, right.
I'm so grateful. But that's the thing. It's important to be anchored to a community that can hold on to you, that can reach you in those dark places where you want to be left alone or you want to give up and your people won't let you go.
Amen.
Oh,
All right.
that's
And
that's a
and I'm
fact.
glad that you shared that part, because people think, as Jason said, like, was Jesus or God a part of your life? Even at that point, you're like, you know what? Like, what's going on?
This may not be
Like,
working for me
right,
right
right. You're
now.
like, I'm not getting it. And so I'm glad you mentioned that, because we often look at it like, hey, we're doing the right thing. I'm not out here doing this. I'm not doing that. And so we start playing the judgment card, right? Why me? Why does it keep happening? And so I'm glad. So just, you know, even though community was there, just go into that space for those who may be viewing and maybe, as you said, dealing with different types of grief, but also at the same time, because like you said, it could be a person. It could, like you said, it could be they lose their job. Then they lose this. And so it's loss after another, and you still question what's going on. So just take us through that.
Yeah, I did. I had a faith crisis, and I just I felt like God was giving me more than I could bear,
Yeah.
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm pretty sure this is more than I can bear.
Right. Right.
And I didn't have the words to pray. I didn't even know what to say. I was just exhausted and emotionally defeated.
Right.
One of the things that I would do, though, I have all these books, just a lot of positive books by different preachers and ministers and different folk. And I would read like every day some devotional or something, not every day, because there were some days I was all the way out, but the days that I
Okay.
could wrap my mind around it,
Right.
I would pick up some devotional and just try to allow hope to penetrate me,
Right. Right. Right.
And like I said, it took a long
With the
time.
wine glass in your hand.
And sometimes it was like that. Do you
Yeah.
understand? It was like that. Some of those Zoom meetings, that was not coffee in my mug. Okay.
Oh,
Now the truth comes out, right?
Hey,
you were trying to get through life.
Right.
yes, that's it. That's it. Just trying to hang on. And so for me, that really helped. Just allowing something positive. If it was playing gospel music, if whatever, on the days that I could wrap my mind around it, I knew that I needed something positive. Even when I didn't feel it, even when I didn't believe it, I had to keep trying. And that, to me, that was That was the God inside of me that kept trying. When my physical self was like, I'm done with this. I'm done. There's nothing left. Something inside of me was like, keep trying. Give it one more shot. Give it one more day, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I kept going. That just any day that I could, okay, let me pick up, what'd you say, Yama? All right, page 42. What we got there?
Right.
Yeah.
But the truth of it is, the trick of the enemy is to make you think you're the only one. You're the only one feeling like this. You're the only one going through this.
Yep.
You're the only one who's ever experienced grief like this. And that is not true. And in that season, I didn't know any young widows. None of my friends, you know, my grandfathers lived to their 80s. Like, I didn't know anybody who was a young widow. So in that season, Facebook, I found some young widows on Facebook, and it really helped me just to know it wasn't me. Like, life wasn't picking on me, because that's what we get trapped in. Like, it's all happening to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dark place. It's very isolating when you think it's only you. But once you reach out a little bit and you find out, oh my gosh, you went through this, you went through that, you know, it just lets you know you're not alone. You're not alone. And that's what I think now. It's such a slippery thing where people they're not connecting. You know what I mean? They're not connected to folk. And so you get in your head and you think it's just you, but it's never just you, ever.
I'm glad that was so helpful. So let's look at as Tina's looking at these messages.
Man,
over
you
there,
gotta stay off my side.
I need you to go to does it show both of them at the top?
I'm gonna see it. Yeah,
okay.
I think so, baby.
Okay.
All right. Let me take care of this.
Okay.
All
right.
I got my thing.
Okay. Nope. You ain't got it.
Okay, I got it.
All right. I wanted to go before that. That's
okay.
So let's see that one first.
Okay.
And so, which brings me so this is the comment. She says, this is so smart to use therapy and Jesus.
Yep.
And that's exactly where I was going with my next question. And so let's see what she says. Using regular spiritual practice, reading, journaling, etc., as part of building your foundation for your future. So smart and very necessary. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And so that's kind of like exactly where I was going to go with, because you said therapy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so was it just like therapy at church? Was it therapy where you just turned someone on? Like or was it a professional therapist that was helping you and your family during this grieving process?
Yes. So we went to professional therapy, and this is another tip. You know, I've heard so many people say, I tried therapy, it didn't work for me. Try something different. You know what I mean? There are all kinds of therapy. There are a variety of therapists, you know, and so I put my kids in therapy. We tried one-on-one therapy. It worked for my son. He went right in there, laid on that lady's couch, like, let me tell you how I feel, right?
Okay.
But my daughter shut down. She didn't want to talk. She didn't want to say anything. So we had to try something else. So we tried a couple different therapists, and then I found a group therapy for children. And she went in there, and she was, you know, they said, draw a picture to your loved one. What would you want to write? Write a letter. And she came out of there so, Mommy, and Katie said her grandma passed and she drew a horse. And and I was like, thank you, God, you know, because I knew she was holding so much inside and she didn't have an outlet, you know. And so it's important. Don't give up. You know, if one outlet doesn't work, one therapist doesn't work, that doesn't mean therapy doesn't work. Maybe it was that therapist or that technique. So we definitely did professional therapy, but we stayed close to our church family. And I am so grateful for all of the folk, the Sunday school teachers who would just pour into my babies, because, you know, children, you can say it 100 times. And they go, womp, 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 womp.
Yeah.
But let somebody else say it, right? Like, let Miss Dana say it. Let Miss Shamika say it. And then your kids are like, hey, Mommy, Miss Dana told me what. And I'm like, yeah, I said that too, but okay.
Right.
So it's both, that's what both techniques. And, you know, I know a lot of people are doing online church now. And at our church, we have folk who do online church, but the connection, being in proximity with people, with folks,
absolutely,
hug you. I tell anybody, Sunday morning is the only time 20 people hug me and tell me they love me. No other time in my week.
Right.
You know, Sunday morning, you know, and you don't get that online. You can't. And so it's important, if wherever you are, if you can get physically present with people who will pour love and hope and support into you, take it. Take it. I mean, online tools are great. We're doing this.
Right.
Exactly.
But it's important.
But I even know, even with us doing this, if we were in proximity, it would be a whole new different dynamics. Like you said, when we came together, it's just something about the power of the spirit of the energy when you're in that area. And it's not, it's people think, well, I don't need to be in a church. It's just a building. It's not just the building. It's the energy. It's people of like minds, like souls, like energy.
It's the hugs. It's the how you're doing. It's have a blessed week. It's all of those wonderful things that you need to be reminded of.
Yeah, because when COVID hit, that's the one thing I missed was on Sunday, being able to speak. And my worries were for the older generation, right? The people that you didn't get a chance to hug, you didn't know you were hugging them for the last time, right? So all of the elderly people and, them not being able to see you or them being alone because there were so many people that was alone during that time. But what are you saying?
I have a question about therapy. I don't know. How did you feel about therapy prior to getting into it? Did you have, was it negative outlook on it? You like, I'm embarrassed because I don't want any people to think something's wrong with me because I have to go to therapy?
I didn't have that hurdle, and I have to thank my mom. I think I first went to therapy when I was 8 or 9 years old, and I don't even know what was happening in our lives in that season that she was like, "Oh, I'm taking this child to therapy."
Let me straighten her out right now.
So now the story, now the connection comes. You was a little spicy too. Mom was like, "Oh, I need
to take." So various times in my life, I have been to therapy, and I call it a heat check. I'll call my therapist right now and be like, okay, girls, so this is what I'm thinking. Am I on point or am I tripping? She'll be like, no, you're on point. So I think it's great to have an ongoing relationship with your parents. Not that I don't do weekly therapy anymore, but I have somebody that, if I feel a little weird or this situation just seems a little off to me, because I like confirmation. Okay, I like confirmation, and so I'll hit her up and just be like, what is your perspective on this? So I did not have any preconceived notions or any negativity attached to therapy, so that wasn't a hurdle for me. I know it is for a lot of people, but that's why it's important for me to say that. It's important for me to say, I do therapy and Jesus. It's important for me to say, y'all, I had some dark days and I drank a lot, because those are the things we don't say out loud.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And even in that season, I would show up to church. Hey, praise the Lord. Nobody knew what I was going through because we're very good about concealing those things. Right. But it's important that we share it so that other people don't feel like they need to hide or tuck it away or not go to therapy because of the stigma. No, do it. Run to therapy right now. Go.
And I think the other thing is you talk about sharing is that it also helps you heal.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So you're not keeping it where you're having it tucked. So you're double hurting. Right. So you're having to conceal the hurt and then hide the hurt. Yes. Right. So you're hiding it from everyone else, and then you have to hide the fact that you're still hurting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's so I'm glad that again that what you're saying is just to the awareness that you and I talked about that, right? Your stories are not your stories.
That's right.
And it's not just the fact that your story can help someone else, but then as you said, you reach out and you realize, wow, I'm not alone in this race. Right? I have other people that can encourage and lift me up when I feel like, hey, God, you picking on me.
Yeah.
So I just thank you for the sharing tonight.
So I want to go back to the whole wine thing. Right?
Oh.
Out of everything that was said, he wants to go back to the wine thing.
Because
Jesus and wine.
Jesus and wine. Right. She took communion to the next level.
Okay.
All right. So now, no, I mean, because this is good, especially for healing for a lot of people. Because a lot of people, the first place they go is have a couple of drinks, right? Just to knock the edge off.
Yep.
And then you're doing it almost every day, 2 or 3 times a day, right? Yep. So when you got to a point and you said, you know what, this is no longer serving me. What was that moment that you said, you know what, I think I'm okay enough that I don't need this crutch anymore?
I honestly, it started, I thank God. It it didn't work the same, right?
Okay.
I
Yep.
got to a point where I would have a glass of wine and it was kind of like, I don't, it didn't even taste good, right? It didn't
Yeah.
even, or it was too much acid. It would upset my stomach. And so I think it was divine, I think it was,
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
but we also have to listen because
Right.
I do believe that God is always speaking to us in various ways. We don't always listen, right? So if you
Right.
drink that wine and you get a headache, maybe you need to back up off of that. And that's really how it started happening for me. Like my stomach would hurt, and I was like, go to the doctor, and she's like, "Well, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm doing nothing, girl." But that's what it was. And it was like my body was like, we're not doing this anymore, right? We did that for a season.
Right.
We're not doing this anymore. And so that's really what backed me up off of it. And my mother and my mother-in-law calling, crying, worrying, like they you all right? They would come visit and stare at me, and I was like, I'm okay.
Listen, we think we can mask it, we think we can hide it, but boy, I'm gonna tell you, you're a different person when you're drinking.
Oh yeah.
Or
Yeah.
or you think that even with grief, right? You think that no one can tell, but you really are showing up differently. And
Oh,
and you can tell. And so as much as people try to say, I'm okay,
yeah.
and so it's that, as you said, it's that still holding you, not only holding you to help you, but holding you accountable.
I also want to say, in that season, so I mostly I drank at home, but there were a couple of incidences where I was out with people who I thought cared about me.
Absolutely. Oh, I
Man.
love that. I love that. I
That's the
love
thing.
those
When-
words.
when you think
those
you're in
words,
a
but
safe
yes,
space and you're
yes,
not.
Yes.
Yeah. And so there were a couple of times where I drank a lot, and the people who were closest to me, who I thought would care for me, did not. And those were two real significant wake up calls where I got home, and after I got myself together, I was like, you are the monkey in the show, baby girl. You are the monkey in the show. So are you going to continue to do that?
Right. Right.
And when I got that revelation that drunk Martina is entertaining,
Right.
Right.
oh, I was like, no, okay, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I'm not here for your entertainment. But thank you, Holy Spirit. You don't see it when you're in the moment.
I was
Right,
getting ready to say that.
exactly.
I was just getting ready to say that.
You
Yeah.
don't see it, and you're the good time person, and they pour it up, drink this, drink that. And I look back on those times, and I'm like, I literally there was a party where one of my friends, I gathered myself up. It took everything in me to get dressed, to come to this party with all of these couples that my husband and I used to hang out with. But I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. They were like, you got to come. So I pulled it together. I got there, and everybody's drinking. I start drinking. And one of the guys at the party triggered me, and it felt so intentional looking back on it. Like, we're all here having a great time talking
Right.
about whatever we were talking about, and he starts asking me questions about my late husband. And so I start drinking more, right?
Yep.
And it, I mean, I thank God I didn't, I didn't do anything real wild,
Right.
but I was out of character for me.
Right.
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 And afterwards, and it took a couple of weeks for me to process that, and I'm like, oh, you're the monkey in the show. You know what I mean? It's like, we can get her, and I can push this button and watch her go,
Right.
And
Right.
I had to say enough of that. That is not who I am. That's not who I was created to be. And so we're not going to do this anymore.
And so that brings me to Jason and I often talk about, right? You talked about your circle, right? And so even that was a circle, right?
Yes.
And so how important is it for people to realize that people come into your life, right, for a reason and for a season and then for a lifetime?
Yes.
So speak to that right there, right?
Oh, Tina.
How we change.
Here we go.
Right? How sometimes that is not
Yep.
the best thing for you because that's where you've always been and because you feel comfortable, right? So in the beginning, you said, I had to get out of my comfort zone, right? Sometimes the comfort zone is the people that we hang around, the people that we think are our friends, but really, you're the monkey in the show, right? So talk about that.
Yeah. So when I lost my husband, my circles changed instantly. Like, and even if the people were around, the energy was different. And it was even at the point where I started asking folks, did y'all only like him? Because like it feels like
I hope you were drunk then.
no, that was sober. Okay. I need to know. So the circle changed instantly.
Wow.
Well, because the single girl is no longer welcome in the married people's club. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just the truth. And I'm not even mad at it. I'm not even mad.
Exactly.
That's just the way it is. Okay. So you're no longer welcome in the circle. And so that was hard. That was hard to process because I felt like I was the same person. Like I'm the same homie I was last month. You know, now I just don't have a husband. But you can't come to the party anymore. Okay. So that was one piece of it.
Wow.
But what I've come to understand is people can't give you what they can't give themselves, right?
Absolutely.
And so I was looking for people to support me in ways that they weren't even protecting, supporting, caring for themselves.
Right.
So, you know, you can't protect me from your husband saying something crazy when you don't protect yourself. And so the circle has to change, but I don't hold anything. And I think that's the thing. Sometimes when, you know, if you break up with somebody or a friendship changes, somebody has to be villainized or vilified for that.
Right, right.
No, it doesn't have to be that. It's just that in this season, you know, wherever we are, it's not meshing in this season. And that's okay. And so I truly had to learn to let people go, but without any negativity. I don't wish anybody any harm. You know, I've really come to the space where I understand sometimes circumstances are what they are, and you never really know why people treat you the way they treat you. You have an idea.
Right.
You could be triggering something from their childhood. You don't know what's happening in their household.
Exactly.
There's all kinds of things. And so I also had to release my need to understand. I don't have to understand why the relationship doesn't work. I don't have to understand why you're not showing up the way I think you should. I don't have to understand any of it. What I know is this no longer serves me, so I'm going to release you and bless you. That's it. That's all. We don't have to fight about it. We don't need a 4-page Aaliyah letter. It doesn't take any of that. Okay? This no longer serves me. And I think that everybody would do well to understand when situations don't serve them and to be able to walk away with grace. You don't have to fire finger text somebody something mean. It doesn't do any of that. So, and I thank God for that clarity, that I didn't have to stomp, you know, I don't have to take my ball and stomp off. It doesn't.
Right. Exactly.
Once it became clear to me that these situations didn't serve me, I simply released it. And that was such a big part of my healing.
Now,
Wonderful.
see, that's just amazing. So not only,
Make sure you're close to it.
yeah, I'm close. My voice carries. I'm a man. It projects.
Okay.
So not only did you go through that initial loss, and then, you know, you had your father, your husband, and then your brother, but then you start to lose all of these relationships that you once had. So it was just a compounding effect. It wasn't just this one isolated event. It was just this event that led to other events that need to happen so that you can then heal. Because like you said, you were no longer really welcomed in the group anymore.
Well, I think what you talked about was that you were feeling like I'm still the same person, right? And so I need you to show up and support me as that same person. But, you know, it comes to the realization of that life didn't change for them.
Right.
Life changed for you. And as you said, you were trying to understand, why can't they understand what's going on, how I need them to show up. And you got something in the chat. But
no, I don't have anything.
So
But
and so it comes to that point where you're like, why can't they see, or why aren't they doing?
Yes.
And so, like you said, that higher awareness of realizing that as people say, life is still life in the way they've always known it.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. And you know what? What it did for me, what the awareness did for me, I didn't focus on the people I lost. I started doubling down on the folks who were still rocking with me.
There you go. Yeah.
And so like my college homies, like we're texting all the time because the energy that I was putting into some other relationships, I was
Right.
like, just pour into the people who've been here,
Who showed up right.
Absolutely. So I did that. You know what I also became aware of though? So I have some friends who were divorced, and only when I became a widow did I consider, like, who buys you the birthday presents when you're divorced, right? Like, my husband always got me the good presents. If anybody else did anything, that was both.
Right.
He came through, right? So when I got on this side, I was like, who does that? When I tell you during COVID, I was just sending my friends lunch, like, here, girl, DoorDash you lunch, or found ways to love on my people, because I just had this understanding now of, it's not just the widows, right? It's the divorcees, it's the single people. Like, we can love on each other better. Even some of our married friends still want their friends, their homies, to love on them.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That experience made me go deeper in how I connect and love on the people who are present in my life. So
exactly. And that's what I'm talking about relationships, right? When you're what you went through shifted your perspective.
Yes.
And so we have to get to the understanding that if nothing has transpired in other people's lives, even though we may be a part of their lives, if nothing has transpired, their view is still the same.
That's right.
They have not shifted. And that's why, when we talk to couples, we try to get them to understand that whether it's divorce, whether it's a breakup, whether it's a separation, whether it's a loss, it's you.
Yes. Yes.
The other relationships, these people haven't gone through what you're going through.
Yes.
So you have to be able, as you said, to rise. And when we talk about, consciousness, right? You have to rise above where you are to see what's really going on.
Right. Yeah. But you have to first be aware.
I need an aerial view of what's really going on. And then, that's just talking
That's
about.
how I feel, Tina. I truly do. I feel like now I can see pieces moving on the chessboard,
Yes.
And just, it's so interesting how my perspective on how people interact and how they talk to each other, it's very different now. It's
Absolutely
like illuminated,
Yes.
And I think that's where we get to the good part of the grief, right?
Yes.
Right.
The grief is hard and it's tough and it's ugly. But if you go through the process, if you allow yourself to learn, right, as you're going through the process, you come out with a perspective that allows you to be a blessing in a different way. I think, I don't know, you'd have to ask my friends, but I think I am a kinder, gentler, more understanding, more compassionate version of myself now. Not that I was mean before.
Right, I get it. Right.
I just,
it's the awareness.
Yes,
right.
You get refined in the fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so while I wanted people to still be the same with me, I'm not the same. I'm not the same. And I like this version of me a lot. I like that I'm more sensitive. I like that I listen better to people, and that I'm intentional about my engagements with folk. You know what I mean? I try not to be like, let's have lunch 3 months from now. No, girl, what you doing tomorrow? Not tomorrow. What about next day? Like I want to love on you right now. I am so intentional about loving on my people now, even more than I was before.
That's great. And did you have a question?
You okay? I do, but
I'm looking at Jason's comments. He has comments over there.
You know what? I'm just gonna. I'm gonna let this.
Right.
This is for you.
I still love you too. That's right. Yeah, she started that.
She started over here looking at on the back end.
Reading messages. That's right. All right. Yeah, some pastors tell us over and over again, let us go into the house of the Lord for many reasons, including to be loved.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing the two different things. So you got to understand it's just a few things inside. Everything is not clear in front of us. So
That's all right. That's all right. I'll give you
I
that.
totally agree. Yes.
Oh yeah, about attending church, 100%.
Yeah, it is. It makes a whole difference.
Yes, it's absolutely makes a difference. And not that you can't get the word at home, but we're not talking about the word. We're talking about the spirit.
Yeah. So that's Dot chiming in.
Hey, Dot,
Hey,
welcome
Dot.
to the show. Thank you
Yeah.
for joining us. And while we're reading these messages, thank you for joining us. If anyone has any questions, please make sure that you put them in the comments.
Questions, support, just
Yes,
hey,
yes,
add a
comments.
girl, give her an add a girl, high five, something. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So let's read the next one. Anything else?
Yeah, I got
okay.
this. Yeah. Can I?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. And those going for spiritual counseling, if your needs are not being met, your spiritual counselor should have psychological therapists to refer you to. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, you don't have to have one or the other.
No,
The
you can
thing
have
is,
both.
all of them.
It's part. It's
That's right.
the community, right?
Yes.
You just can't get through some of this stuff on your own. The problem
Absolutely.
is we were taught to go through life by ourselves. Don't say anything. Everything that goes on in this house, you don't say anything. When you get outside it and you walk around, especially for men, we walk around with all these burdens and all these things just on us, and we can't talk to anybody about it.
And
I think that is terrible too
It
for,
is.
for couples, to think that we have to work everything. You have never been, right? If you're a couple, you've been married 2 years, you've never been at 5 years. So you don't have all the tools and resources and insights
right.
for the next leg. And so my husband and I were co-founders of the Married Couples Ministry at the St. Mark United Methodist Church in Chicago. And we, there's so much value in surrounding yourself with like-minded couples,
Yes.
with faith-based couples who can share insights with you. If you run off to your friend who's single and you're like, my wife did this, that friend's gonna say, I would never take that. Let's go to the club, right?
Absolutely.
You need to be with the friend who's like, bruh, I know, sometimes they trip, but this is how we're going.
But let me tell you how to get through it.
Right.
Let me how to tell you that she really don't mean it.
That's
I was just going to say that, especially when we're talking about loss, right? Even grieving the loss of the relationship that you either once had, or if you're still in your relationship, what you thought your relationship was going to be like, right? No one thinks that when we say I do and the person I chose to do life with, that we're going to be at, odds with each other.
Yeah.
So loss happens in so many different ways. And I just want people to understand it just doesn't have to be the physical loss, right? Just helping you through understanding that if you've never ran this race before, you may need a little help.
That's right.
Right. And so it's the help that we provide, that you provide to help people come on and see, hey, it's okay to get a little coaching. It's okay to get a little therapy. It's okay to get a little spiritual understanding.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever it is you need in that moment.
I always tell couples, like when they come, I say, well, if you could fix the problem, you wouldn't still have it.
There it is. There it is.
Let's go to. Yep. Hey, Sandra.
Hey,
Happy
Sandra.
Friday.
Yes.
Yes, I so appreciate your truth. I believe she's talking to you, Martina.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
I mean, we need to hear. We need to be real. Because people just don't. People think like, oh, okay, you went through this and you're okay. It's enough time. And people always say, oh, you should be over this by now. You should be on it. And I'm like, I never understand it. It's not based on time.
No.
It's based on how I evolve.
Based on healing, the healing process, which is continual. Whether, like you said, whether we're healing from what has just happened or what has happened 15 years ago or in another lifetime or from what our parents did.
That's right.
What our third grade teacher said to us that's now a trigger. So healing is a gradual process. And as you said, giving yourself grace. Let's get the next because we counting down. All right. Discuss how grief is an ongoing experience. Absolutely. So go ahead and I'll let you do that.
Okay. So grief shows up in a lot of ways. And so I think the tools I use to deal with it are always evolving as well.
Absolutely.
There were seasons of the grief where I didn't feel like I talked to anybody else. And so I had to get into my books. I had to get into my word. I had, pour into myself. And then there were seasons of grief where I needed other people to share it with me. I needed somebody to speak his name. I wanted to talk about the memories and the experiences. And so I needed community for that. There were seasons, I tell you, there was a stretch of about 2 months. It felt like every Sunday I was on the altar crying. And I was like, Martina, I'm sick of you. Okay.
Would you please get off of it?
Like I would plan my church outfits like, okay, is this a stretch out on the altar outfit? Because I know that's where I'm going to end up. Okay. But you know, it's all of that. And different things work for different people. I know
Absolutely.
A lot of people journal. I never was really a consistent journaler, but every now and then I would have like paragraphs that I just needed to write to him. And so I would type it up in my phone. You know, there's so many ways to process, but understand that you've got to process, right?
There you go.
Figure out, okay, today maybe I need to sing. Maybe I got to stretch out on the altar today, right? Maybe I need a friend to sit with me and help me walk through this. Maybe I'm going to call his mom. I adore my mother-in-law. She is amazing. Her strength like blows me away. Okay, because that was her baby. That was my man, but that was her baby.
Her baby,
okay?
Yeah.
And I call her because I know if two people on this planet love that boy, it was us, right? And so, you know, and I'll call her and she will talk with me and we'll share and remember and that helps me process my grief. And so and I will never be the Martina before the grief. I'll never be that. And so this Martina is on a journey of, you know, opening my heart and staying open to love in all its forms, right? Love from my friends and friends who are showing up for me in the most beautiful and amazing ways, right? Dating and trying to open myself to love in that way. And so, and even in that, there are moments in dating where I'm like, oh, I just wonder how I don't want to be here. But that's
that comfort zone.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I'm sure you all have counseled many couples, but you know, when you're with a person, you get to know that person and you know, you train them on how to fold the sheets and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yep.
Oh, we got to do this again.
Right.
Exactly.
So, you know what? I saw something online once when I think he said, you've been married for so long and then you break up and you get a divorce and then you out here dating and you sitting down with somebody and be like, well, what's your favorite color? He said, man, take your butt back home and marry your wife.
Yeah. It's like you got to go through this whole process again.
Right.
And sometimes you're like, can we just skip that part and just get to the...
Right. Let's get to the adult version.
So I feel for you. I feel for you. You got my prayers on that part. I feel for you. All right. Yeah. So you got another message.
Yeah.
Okay. I know. Oh. All right. We'll get this. I don't want you to make sure you get them all in.
I got a lot. So
Nancy, if you got one more thing to say, you better get in before we get it. You are surrounded by people who care and love you. Amen. Yes, that is so very important.
Yes.
All right.
Know that.
You are in my head. Wow. Yep. That's what we did.
It's
only one mind. We all sharing the same thing. Absolutely.
Yes. But because even though we have different experiences, you know what I mean? The feelings, right? We all have the feelings. No matter how you get to your grief, it's still grief.
Exactly.
It still hurts, right?
Exactly.
Those people who lost their homes in those fires,
right?
They are grieving. All of your possessions, all of your neighbors, the Starbucks you went to, everything about their lives changed. So yeah, no matter how you arrive at grief, we get here and we have to navigate it together.
Yeah, because your life is no longer the same.
Nope.
Your daily routine, any of those things that you thought were important.
Were you? What was you said?
Or you were attached
you
to.
are now a different Martina, right? And so life is different. And so now we have to take it from this point. I can never go back to who I used to be. So let's read that.
Yep.
And I want to hurry.
Yep, Deborah. Okay.
Hi, Deborah. Thank you for joining us and
Yes.
join you on YouTube. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure you subscribe and follow. All right. So let's see what. What?
Yeah, I'm not sure what she
It
was
was like
saying.
an
That's
emoji or
nobody.
something she put in there.
Yeah.
Like it was waving hands.
Okay. They said the waving hands or the fingers. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can read that for her. This dialogue affirms that I have developed self-love to understand my value and recognize when it is time to end relationships that are no longer beneficial. I cherish this current version of myself. And that the whole point, you know what?
Yes, Kelly. And Kelly, thank you so much for
Yes.
chiming in. We really
Thank
appreciate
you for joining us tonight.
Yes, Kelly.
And that's so important because no matter what, right? No matter what we're grieving or what people don't understand, the key thing is that we were in class and we were talking about, right, when we fall in consciousness. So what's the point of doing the work and then allowing someone else to come back in and then destroy everything that you've worked for? It's like the fire, right?
Yeah.
It's like starting from ground zero, and that's not the journey. That's not the purpose of the journey.
No, they talk about spinning the block, and I'm really not an advocate of allowing people to spin the block unless they've done the work. Like, don't come and bear on my block in the same car. Okay.
Yep. Sometimes the same clothes.
That's right. Hey, and that's friendships, that's relationships.
Yep.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, anything. If you stopped eating donuts and your body felt better not eating donuts, don't let those donuts spin the block on you. You know what I mean? We're not doing that. When we move past a season and a space and we heal and evolve beyond that, don't allow that thing to come back into your life. I think it's really, really important because that's how we end up repeating cycles and stuck in these situations. Yes. Even with jobs, I remember I left a job and then I had another job and I was like, ooh, maybe I should have just stayed. But no, you can't go back. We're always moving forward. We're learning, growing, evolving, adding tools, loving ourselves differently. So I'm very anti to spinning the block. Don't do it.
And the thing is that once you actually change, right? As Kelly said, when you do the self-love, the work, the self-work, right? Then you realize that that relationship that you were in isn't going to work anyway.
You're going to outgrow it.
You're not, right. You're not the same. Like you said, you had to realize that, hey, I can love that. We can agree. I can love you from a distance, but this relationship does not serve me, and it couldn't serve me anyway. What would it start doing is bringing friction because it's not meant. It's not meant for that season, no matter what.
You feel uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? But again, we don't listen, right? When the spirit tells us you don't need to be here, and you feel uncomfortable, and it's like but we press on. No, I'm gonna hold on. It's okay to release those things that don't serve you. And again, it doesn't make that other person a bad person. It just means we're at different places on our journey. And it's okay. I wish you the best and I release you.
Because what we have to realize is everybody's journey is not the same.
Nope.
That's right.
And it's okay.
But again, people don't want to lose that relationship because I've had it for so long.
What we think it was. Right. All right, let's keep them because it's all right. All right, so Dot said, Dennis, where are you? We haven't seen you tonight.
Yeah.
Dennis is out partying. It was warm today. All right, so Dennis, if you watch the replay, make sure you chime in like you always do. We'll be listening to your, and we want to know what you think. So, and respond to Don. All right, Jenna says, my gold rush, Sister Martina. So much food for thought. Your perspective on grief that it can be a major part in your healing journey. Amen.
Amen.
Yes. That is the whole point, right? Oh, yep. So,
okay.
I just didn't want you to pass.
I'm not going to pass you back.
All right. Kelly says, that's different. You on Deborah.
Oh, okay. Yep. See, messing around.
See, that's you. All right. Kelly said, this dialogue is therapeutic. The process of mourning is a continuous and developing path. Is that to say path? Yep. Path for me. Yes.
Yep.
Amen.
Stay on the path, Kelly. Stay on the path. And it's, there are twists and turns. I'm telling you, this grief will show up in the most random ways. And it's not just losing my spouse. So because I lost the three so close together, I find myself grieving them at like random times, right? It wasn't linear. So I kind of postponed the grief of my husband a little bit. And then my brother passed. So now I really find myself now 5 years later grieving my brother so much, missing him and like looking at our pictures. it's, you know, each person in your life holds a special space. And so my brother, it felt like he held my youth. Like he was the dude who would remember the names of all the cousins at the family reunion and stuff. And I was like, who's that? Who's that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
You would always know. You know, your siblings are the people who shared those childhood vacations with you, you know, and they remember when grandma did this, remember when daddy did this. Like,
Right.
that was the person I could talk to about that. And so now that he's gone, I feel like a part of my childhood and those memories went with him. But it's taken me 5 years to get to the point where I can sit with that, you know, where I can write letters to him and speak his name and, you know, and do that without like breaking down. And you know,
Right.
so it's very interesting. And it truly is a journey. It's a journey. It's not a race and you get to the finish line and you're over this grief, you know.
You're right.
It doesn't work that way. But what I know is that each leg of the race, I learn new tools, new methods. I figure out what works for me. I'm the type of person, when I'm heavy in my grief, I get quiet, because a lot of times when we're emotional, we lash out. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're hurting,
Right.
and so we
Yes.
lash out.
Yes.
And I'm very aware of that. And so when I'm in those most painful moments, I just get quiet. I go take a nap. I get quiet because I don't want to take it out on my babies.
Right.
I don't wanna,
Right.
You know, I tell people, you don't have the right to like throw your pain on other people. That's not fair. They don't deserve that. And so I've had to figure out, okay, when I'm in these really hurting moments, what can I do to ease myself but not hurt the world? Because
That's
Right.
that's so wonderful. That's so, because awareness, because the first step, as we say with everything, is awareness. Sometimes people don't even, the pain and the grief is so strong that your lash out to you is normal, and you can't even see that it's a lashing out, and the person really hasn't done anything. That's so amazing. So just such good gems. I mean, just such good gems, girl.
Yeah.
I didn't expect anything less.
Oh my God, it's the attack of the Tinas.
I know.
tell you.
let me tell you, the Tinas, woo, it's a thing.
Yes. Yeah, you should see us in person. We're together, right? It's never about getting over anything. It's about getting through it, healing all the way.
All the
Yes.
way. Yep.
Yes.
And again, but that's different for everybody.
Yes,
Right?
and
so
it
there
looks
is
different.
no right.
Yes.
It looks different. Right?
Yes. Yes.
So, whether it be time, whether it be how you
Whatever.
dealing with it.
Just
you know.
not finding an escape like alcohol or drugs or anything like that. Let's
Yeah.
go to the next one.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Martina, for sharing so wonderfully.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We coming through. We're trying to get to him, Martinez, and we do it. You got to go. Yep. All right. So let's see. Kelly says, "Thank you for your truth."
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a nice community.
Okay, Kelly says, my brother recently passed away. He was my closest companion. Indeed, life has its ups and downs. I am adapting to a new way of living, navigating through the challenges while learning to love myself and others wholeheartedly.
Kelly,
Amen.
let me tell you, my brother was 3 years younger than me. This dude followed me to college. Okay. He was my road dog. And I stayed for grad school. So we had our college years together, post college. Like, we had very similar personalities. And so that was my dude, you know? And so I totally understand that, you know, when it's not just your sibling, but your friend, you know,
Right.
he was my
Yes.
friend.
That's
And
wonderful.
so it definitely, it takes some realignment. But what I tell myself though, I am so blessed to have been loved so well. You know, I have been loved so well. And I have no regrets. I have no regrets. It is so much better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. And
Amen.
so
Amen.
I'm grateful for all the years that I had with my dad, that I had with my husband, that I had with my brother. I'm now in a place where I am filled with gratitude and joy for the time I had with them, rather than mourning the time that I did not have. I can truly appreciate the years I did have.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
That is.
That's so
and
wonderful.
Kelly, please accept our condolences for the loss of your brother.
Yeah. I give it
And
to
you
him.
know we're here every Friday. So if you just want to come on and just say some words or just say something, please do.
Yeah.
All right, Dot says, I'm loving the conversation this evening. Thank you, Dot, for
Thank
tuning
you.
in. Thank you for chiming in. Thank you for being here. All right. And as always, Regina said, Martina, I know about the brother. It was just the second, the two of
Yeah.
us. He was the oldest. It will be 10 years this October.
Wow. Wow.
Next month is his birthday.
Wow.
Next month is his birth month.
Yep. Wow.
Yes,
We
yes.
love
So
Regina.
we understand about the brothers. Yes. All right, let's hear from Kelly.
Yep.
Yes, my best friend. I knew love and its realest form, being loved by my brother.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's, let me tell you, it's a beautiful thing. Everybody doesn't have that. So we're celebrating that. My brother, his first job was at the skating rink. Okay. And I used to wear gym shoes until they fell apart. I wasn't never a gym shoe person. I just, would wear shoes, and he hated it. He wanted me to have better gym shoes all the time. He would talk about me. His first job that Christmas, he bought me a pair of gym shoes with his skating rink money. And I will never forget that, because, he was making like $3 an hour. Like,
Yep.
nothing. You know what I mean?
Nothing.
Nothing. And so for him to use his money to buy me gym shoes meant so much. So I have so many of those moments, and that's what we have to hold on to. Like those beautiful moments where your brother shows up and holds you down and celebrates you. It's fantastic.
And we'll keep the college secrets at college, because I'm sure there's plenty of those.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we definitely had a pact. It was like, don't say nothing to Granny, okay?
All right. Well, we thank you so much for coming
Yes,
on. And you
yes.
are always welcome to come back for
Yeah.
whatever. We didn't even get into the other stuff. Like, there's so many more layers. Just love it. So we will definitely have to have
Oh,
you
I
back
got one
again.
before we get to that. What does the future look like for you, Martina?
My future is limitless. And I've never felt limitless. I've never felt like all of the possibilities were open, because coming out of college, you get a job and you get married, and it was very kind of lockstep. But I told my daughter, she's a freshman, she's finishing her freshman year. I said, baby girl, you got 3 years, because when I drop you off on campus, I might be on Mars. Okay? I might be anywhere. And I'm excited about it. Initially
Yes.
I was so afraid to venture into life by myself,
Right.
But now I'm like, we might do an eat, pray, love. We might, who knows?
That's
knows?
right. That's
Like,
right.
everything is open to me. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm glad. I'm so full that I can say that I'm excited about it. I'm not scared, because God has kept me through all these other things that truly could have broken me, and they didn't. And so now I feel even more invincible. So I'm like, let's see what I'm gonna get back in 5 years. So let's see. I'm like, anywhere in the world.
All right. So are there any more questions, comments, concerns? Thank you.
Yep.
Come back, girl. Come back. That's right.
I will.
Yes, it's so wonderful. And
Yes, it is.
there's so many, and I really wanted to touch on, because you call it good grief. And I really did want to touch on that, how you arrived at the good
In grief, yes.
Right. So we're definitely gonna have to
Well, she
have
can
you
just
come back
touch on
on.
it for a minute.
No. We're gonna say that
A
for another
second.
time. Nope. We're gonna make people come back. This is like that cliffhanger, right?
Oh.
That's right.
You're doing that TBA.
That's right. So Martina got to come back, and everybody online got to come back.
Okay.
That's right. Hold on for that, because I know that's going to be more than just a second, and I want to give it its due diligence. And so we do want you to come back on. And thank you so much. Thank you. I can't thank you enough.
Sure can.
I love you. I appreciate you. It was, and it's amazing. People may say, "Well, you just met her." It's a connection. It's a soul connection.
Yes.
Has nothing to do with time and space.
Absolutely
I've been
not.
knowing you forever.
Forever, literally forever. Thank you all for having me. I love the work that you're doing. I love how you are blessing the community, and I love how you're blessing couples. Look, I'm team marriage all day. I might be a widow, baby, but I am all for marriage. I love what you all are doing, and keep helping people.
All right. Thank you so much.
well.
Thank you, everyone. Oh, for anyone out there that is looking to, as we talk about How should I be? How do I show up? How am I navigating this space right now to get into my next season? So I do have a workshop next week. The second workshop is next week, Monday through Thursday. Please go online and sign up for it. Do you have one for them, baby Storm? It is so. Manifest You. And so, our book is all about manifesting. So it's manifest you. It means, what do you want in your life that's going to bring you joy? What does your joy look like? What does your happiness look like? Sometimes we find ourselves so wrapped up in what life says we should do. Work, people, mothers, kids, whatever it is. What do you want for your life? As Martina just said, what will get you to that I can do anything place, right? What's going to get you to that I'm invincible? I'm willing to try whatever, or I realize that there are some things I need to release. And so, again, that workshop is next week. Register now. It's June 2nd through the 5th. It's at 6:30 p.m. And this is the evening session, because I did one morning session a couple of weeks back. And this is an evening session, 6:30 to 7:30, 1 hour for 4 days. And we are going to find out what do we want and how to get there. We're laying out the roadmap, all right? We're laying the path. We are intentionally creating what we want in our lives, all right? So and then next Friday, you got
to tell them how to get it. You have to go to legendaryrelationship.com. That way you can click on the workshop and sign up. I'm going to tell you something, right? So we're talking about all these different things. And, we always sit back and say, you know what? I want to be better. I want to do this. This is my year. And you're saying all these different things, but you never move on it.
You never take...
Ladies, and this is only for ladies, right? The men to come late, right? So for the ladies, if you're in that season where you want to move, you said you were going to move, but you haven't really done it. Even if you said, I've taken a step before, go sign up again. Sign up again and just say, hey, you know what? I didn't really get everything that I needed, but I still need a little nudge. Right? It's a community of love. I mean, last week, the women were just super excited. Tina was off the chain and happy for all the transformation that took place and all the revelations that the ladies received.
Right. It's really about movement, not being stagnant, not being stuck in the place where we feel like this is all that life has to offer. Right? It's about moving forward. It's about what feels good to me that I can continually make a change. So, guys, don't forget to go there. Legendary Relationship is Manifest You. What I was going to say is we're talking about Manifest next Friday. We will have Reverend Shirley back. She will be on, even though she couldn't make it last Friday. So she will be on. So Reverend Shirley will be here with us next Friday to talk about manifesting now. All right, guys. So we just thank you. We appreciate you. Any more comments?
I'm trying to get there, baby.
All right,
I didn't got backed up here.
You didn't got backed up.
I don't know why you stopped dipping over here in my Kool-Aid now.
All right. Martina then ran us over. Nancy said, I love the conversation. Thank you.
That's Sandra.
Sandra. No, Nancy.
Nancy said that. I don't know how I keep clicking on the wrong thing.
I don't know how you clicking on the wrong thing. Okay. Sandra says, I've never seen talking about grief in such an uplifting manner. Amen.
Amen.
We got with the kisses and the hearts. I got to make sure we're not missing anything.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like,
and that's the point, right? The good grief. The grief itself was enough.
Right.
We don't have to stay in that place. And I think that's the most wonderful thing, and that's what I love about it. So what did Deborah say? Deborah said, thank you. Great show. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Martina. I'm going to say it again as we're going through this. Yep, right. Yeah, I know. I'm keeping my eyes over here. Right. Kelly says, Tina Jason. I think that says Jason.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Jason.
I'm already doing that. I am manifesting things that I never dreamed of right now today. Decided I'm trying everything and anything that brings me joy. Amen.
Amen.
I'm on the joy train all the way.
Yes,
all
Lord.
Right. Yep, right. Yep. So let's see. Dot says, thank you, Jason, Tina, and Martina.
Yes.
I'm trying to say, have a fantastic evening and weekend, everyone.
Yep, that we will, because this is a special weekend. And why is it a special weekend, baby?
We got to get the next message. Then I'm going to let them know why it's a special weekend.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
All right. It says, thank you, Martina. Thank you, Jason and Tina. Everyone, continue to enjoy the rest of this weekend. All right, guys. Jason and I, Sunday. You can pick it up. Sunday, Jason and I will make 34 years of marriage. I
Yep.
know he married me when I was 1.
Yeah, I got to reel you.
Right. So June 1st will make our 34th
34th
year.
year. Yep.
And I just one, I couldn't imagine doing life without him. But 2, I'm like, oh my God, 34? Like, where did it go? So I'm like, I need to start doing everything that brings me
Everything back
joy.
on the table. Yeah.
Yes.
All those dreams that we had before, it was that time to brush them off and get them
Yes.
going.
Kids don't realize you put your dreams on hold
Yeah.
to pour into them. But it's not a bad thing. It's just that you realize when
That
you
was
come,
that season, right?
Yeah, that was that season.
Right.
All right. You had Kelly's up, I think. Thank you. Kelly said, thank you, Tina and Jason. You did it again. Amen. All right.
you.
Thank you, Kelly. All right, guys. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you again, Martina. Can't thank you enough.
Sure
We will
can.
definitely connect when you are free to come back on. So we better let you go because they may be tearing down your house right now.
Oh, yeah. She got-
All right. So as always, guys, we're going to end this session. Don't forget to go to YouTube. And if you have not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to Legendary Relationship.
Yep.
Make sure you share this video, like this video, go on Facebook, go on YouTube and share it. And if you know anyone that may be going through some type of grief, make sure you share it with them. Anything else?
Martina, is there anything that you would like
Yes,
to
I was
share?
going to ask her. Martina, anything.
Yep.
You know, so I am doing lots of public speaking. I do grief workshops. So if you're looking for me, Emerald City Communication, emeraldcitycom.com, you can find me and book me, and I'm happy to come into spaces and share what I have learned on my journey.
All right, we are going to put her information in the show notes, so you guys, you make sure you look for it and tell them your handles on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Tell them your handles.
LinkedIn,
Yes.
wherever.
Yes, you can find me on Emerald City Com, on Instagram, and also on LinkedIn, Martina Jackson Green, all over LinkedIn. So I love connecting with people. If there's any way I can help, please let me know, and I respond to messages. So if you have questions or you just want to share, I'm happy to help.
All right.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank
thanks.
you so much. All right, guys.
I think I got one message coming in here.
Oh, wait, go up.
whoa.
Wait, we got some
Yeah,
messages.
whoa. See, that's what happened. That's what happened when you have a guest on.
Right.
Yeah, okay,
All
yeah.
right, one more down, Janice. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so
Okay,
we're
here
going to
we
go through these real quick.
Yeah.
When Jason gets together. All right. Thank you, Jan. Happy anniversary to
Oh, thank
Jason
you.
and Tina Marie. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of fun.
You gonna
we
get
had
it.
a ball, yeah.
So happy 30. Who's 30? Dot.
Yeah, we
It's
34.
34.
Yeah.
34. Give me my 4 years, girl.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
That was rough. It was trying to teach them how to fold the sheets.
Yeah.
Right?
No, you trying to get me how to move that plate.
All right. So happy anniversary. Thank you, Versi,
Thank you,
from
Versi.
Tina and Jason. Thank you,
Yeah,
Versi.
we appreciate
Oh,
that.
there go Dot. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Happy
Hey.
34 wedding anniversary,
Thank
Jason
you.
and Tina.
Thank you.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank
them
you,
4
thank
years
you.
important.
That's
Whoa.
right. Ooh, that 4 years we might not have been able to make it.
You know what I'm
Gotta get
saying?
to it.
I had to
All
learn
right.
a lot during them 4 years.
Thank you, Regina. Happy
Thank you.
anniversary. Thank you. And then Sandra says, happy anniversary, Jason and Tina.
Yeah, thank
You
you so
guys
much.
do know it's Tina and Jason, right?
Oh, no. Not. They
just
know. They went to the right school. It's the man.
All right, put Kelly up there real quick. I always mess with him like that. It's so funny. All right, thank you, Kelly. Happy
Thank you,
anniversary.
Kelly.
Thank you, everyone,
And
for
thank you
tuning
for being
in.
here, Kelly. We really appreciate that.
And that's to everyone. Thank
Yes.
you for
Yep.
tuning in. Thank you for spending your Friday with us. We love and appreciate and adore you and share the knowledge. So as always,
Hold up. Make sure you tell everybody because we're here on Fridays. So we always going to bring something. It's always going to be positive, and it's always going to be something that's going to improve your life. If it's not for you directly, it's going to affect someone you know.
Yes.
So, if someone's going through a loss, you could be that better friend now. You can know how to support them. You can't because maybe life hasn't changed for you, but it's changed for them. It was another thing I was going to ask you about them not mentioning your husband's name. Like, they'll get ready to say something in your presence, and they say it and go, and then the whole conversation gets awkward at that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
go ahead, Martina. How is he going to ask you that?
I
And we
would
get
say, it's important to speak their names. You don't have to stumble over it. He didn't disappear. He was here for 44 years, and he was an amazing person. And so for me, and I've heard from other people who are grieving, it's important. Speak your brother's name, your friend's name, your husband's name, whoever, your grandmother, whoever it is that has transitioned. It blesses me when people tell me stories and share pictures and things like that. So speak their names. I think that's important.
Yes. Oh, here come Mia late.
Oh, Mia.
All right, Mia, thank you for saying happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you, Mia.
Thank you. All right.
I appreciate that.
All right.
Yeah, it's important to speak their name. Like you said, they didn't just disappear or anything. So, yep. But that's something that we have to learn how to do.
Yes.
Right. So we don't know what to say. So we just, we end up in this awkward space in your presence and stuff like that. So.
Love it. All right. So we are definitely going to get out of here.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Don't go anywhere yet.
All right. We have time.
Huh?
Okay. All right.
I said we're going to get it, but I'm saying I didn't want to hang up. Right.
So, as always.
Hold up, mama. Hold up. Don't carry me too fast now.
You said let's go.
I did, but I didn't really mean it.
He's navigating this new space. Come on, let's get on up out of here.
I'm trying, baby. You don't want me to hit the wrong button.
All right, guys. So don't forget to go to YouTube, share, like, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, please do it. You can find Martina while we're waiting for Jason to find what he needs to find. Martina, tell them again one more time where they can find you.
Emerald City Communication at emeraldcitycom.com.
All right. Thank you so much. So, as always, you ready?
I am.
All right. You got to put your mic on. You got to put your up on mic. As always, we're in it to win it.
Till next week, guys. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Lovin' Beyond the I Do podcast. Head over to iTunes to subscribe and leave a review. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Legendary Relationship, or visit our website at legendaryrelationship.com. Till next time, remember to make every day count.